So coming up next, we have a panel on investors and publishers. It is called Navigating the Trends, Honest Conversations Between Investors, Publishers, and Developers in Gaming Ecosystem and Gaming Finance. So for it, we have Saikat from Nazara. Next up, we have Kshitij from Elevation Capital. We have Shailaja Rao from Ventana Ventures and Karthik from T Accelerate. Mr. Rajesh from Pixel Play. And the panel is moderated by Imtiaz from Yes No. Thank you so much.
Check. Do we have mics here? Hello, everyone. Can we get a hello back here? Hello. How are you guys? I know the lunch was so great. Someone was talking about, okay, you should try the tamarind rice. It's very nice. What do you call that? Puli? So that was good. Thank you so much for IGDC who organized this great event. Mache and team, a big round of applause to the team there who has put together this event. I think this is like sixth city in this edition, and we're going to have another city in Kochi. So I'll do a quick round of intros, and then we have a bunch of investors, and also someone also plays a role as a publisher, and then we should also listen from the founder as well. So it's a combination. It's a very power-packed panel. My name is Imtiaz Hussain, and I'm a co-founder of a gaming company called Yes No. We are based out of Hyderabad, and that's me.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rajesh Balaji, founder and CEO of Pixel Play Private Limited. We are based in Chennai. Before starting Pixel Play, I was working for and working with companies like Sony, Konami, Square Enix, Outfit 7, and also with Gameloft. These are the couple of guys I worked with. And I started Pixel Play with a vision of creating a product for international market. Basically, we want to be known for the kind of games we create. So by another 3-4 years, we want to be known for the game which will be globally penetrating. Thank you.
I would also like to see if you guys can talk about any book that you're reading these days, which you also recommend.
So there is a book called Creativity Inc., written by one of the founder of Pixar. So that's been one of the major inspiration for a lot of problem solving for me right now.
So, good afternoon. Right, my name is Karthik. I'm from a firm called T Accelerate. T Accelerate is a gaming-focused VC. We focus on emerging markets, and we just launched our India operations few months back. Right, our typical check size would range from 150K to 5 million, and this allows us to do deals across stages. Right, so we do C2, Series B kind of deals. Though our core focus is gaming, and we invest in all verticals in gaming, we wanted to focus on the following sectors in the initial few months. One is mobile-first gaming companies. 2 is publishing companies. 3 is technically sound games with strong Indian meta. We believe this will lower the CPIs, right? On a personal note, I'm a chartered accountant. I consider myself as full stack VC, right? I do deal sourcing, and I also manage the portfolio. So with regard to the book, right, I am currently reading a book called Mind Without Fear. Right? It's a biography of Mr. Rajat Gupta, who at one point in time was a managing director of McKinsey. So this story is all about his personal life, professional life, and his case on insider trading. It is a good book till now, and it is nothing short of a thriller. I think you guys should read it if you have time. So yeah.
Hi, my name is Shailaja Rao. Incidentally, I have a connection with Chennai, though I don't live here. I used to live here many years back during my schooling days. So fond memories, with the city here. So I run a fund called Ventana Ventures. We are a gaming-focused fund. We invest at a pre-seed and a seed stage. And we are always on the outlook for passionate gaming founders who are building something great for the future. Doesn't matter whether you're building for India or for the globe. Always looking for great ideas and betting on the founders. And we are based in Udupi. If you've heard of Udupi, it's a small coastal town in Karnataka. We're based there. Many people ask me why Udupi. That's because in my past avatar as CEO of Robosoft, which was a services company, we were based there, and we decided that we'll continue our investment journey also from Udupi, because I think geographies don't matter. What matters is your work. And yeah, it's been a great journey, talking to wonderful founders we just saw in the previous panel as well. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Kshitij. I work with Elevation Capital, leading our gaming investments here. So Elevation has been investing in India for more than 2 decades. We are a 670 million fund right now. Gaming is a very important vertical for us, and we invest in early stage companies starting from seed stage, so typically $500,000 checks, go up to Series B stage around $20 million checks. So that's the spectrum we invest across. I've been here at Elevation for more than 5 years now. And prior to Elevation, I was in management consulting with Bain. With respect to the book, I'm reading a different book, which I probably wouldn't recommend now, but a book that I would recommend I read last year was Shogun by James Clavell. There's a show on Netflix on the same book now, but the book is definitely worth reading. It was a life-changing book. Much better than the show.
Hey guys, hi, good evening. I'm Saikat. I am the Vice President of Mergers and Acquisitions and Strategy at Nazara Technologies. Nazara is, as you know, India's only publicly traded gaming and esports company with roughly around $1 billion of overall market cap. We have been also investing in quite actively on gaming and gaming allied industries and ecosystems like esports, free-to-play games on mobile, ad tech, and the likes of it. We have recently also earmarked a 1,000 crore fund to be allocated for investments in gaming. But we typically come in at a slightly later stage where we are looking for scaling solutions. So we would help companies to scale their products which are already built and probably had some traction from the products that are already launched. About the book, I will probably be the only non-Gen Z kid here who is not reading a book, but I'm playing a lot of games. The book that I've completed probably a month back would be Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. It's an interesting book which can help you identify how you think about multiple things. So Thinking Fast and Slow is definitely a worth recommended book. Good to be here.
Great. So the stage is set, guys. So we have a combination of VCs and Saikat also, Nazara also does publishing, so that's there. And then we also have a founder who would also talk about the pain points from the founder standpoint. So before that, can we have some show of hands here? How many of you are a founder of a company or about to build start a company in like next 1 year? Next 1 year, I mean, you have a runway for 1 year. Okay, fine, good. And the majority of you, I'm assuming that you guys are in gaming already, right? Or you're trying to get into gaming. How many of you are in gaming, right? Already into gaming or getting into the gaming? Oh, okay, fine. We have a mixed audience there. So, anyways, I mean, this was when post-COVID things were very, different, right, in terms of raising money and so on. How do you guys see now 2024 different than 2022 and 2023? Second, you might like to start, and then maybe others can add.
So last 2 years have been very tricky when it comes to overall investments and funding, primarily because a lot of the macro environments with war, with inflation, with overall interest rates, and a tumultuous environment overall, it was a very tricky position for people to actually go out in the market and seek investments into their companies. That has changed in the last 5-6 months, probably because, I mean, the interest rates are improving, the macro trends are also seeming in the right direction. And I mean, it's a hot take, but people probably are a little optimistic about the future, and they believe that the market's position where they can go ahead and raise more funds and investments. So I think last 6 months probably is a very, very clear positive sign for the industry, and we would see a lot of investments flowing and a lot of deals getting announced in the news in the coming months. So I'm quite bullish about it. We have crossed the difficult period.
Certainly, and Elevation is sector agnostic, like you guys are. And how do you guys see gaming specifically in 2024?
Momentum in gaming has really picked up, Imtiaz. So I think the number of deals we've done in the last couple of years is the same as the number we had done from 2016 to 2021. So definitely we are seeing a lot more founders coming up. The number of studios has gone up a lot, and because there are a few success stories in the market, the talent coming out of those studios, they are really starting good quality companies today. So the learnings really compound over time. So we are seeing good quality founders building for Indian markets as well as global markets. The interesting thing we're also seeing is a lot of gaming founders who are building in the infra space, which is very global in nature, for helping game studios and developers build better, right? I think in 21, 22, obviously the market is very hot, but gaming was mixed up a lot with Web3. Everything had an NFT element to it. Everything had interoperability across chains. Now we are seeing everything which is like more pure play gaming, more pure play studios coming out. So we are quite excited. I think definitely the number of good quality studios we have seen in the last 6 months is a lot higher than what we've seen in the last 2-3 years as well.
Sure. And Shailaja, how do you see?
Yeah, definitely. I think the last 6 months have been really good. We're already seeing a lot of deals getting announced, which is good. What is also interesting to see, Imtiaz, is a lot of funds which are not gaming focused are also getting interested in gaming, which is very interesting, good for the industry. So we are quite bullish. We are excited and hope to see more deals happening.
Absolutely, yeah. I see that a lot of deal flow happening these days.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So let's take a step back to 2019, right? In 2019, the total number of deals that happened in 2019 was 70, right? And in 2022, it is 35, right? So there was a 50% reduction, right, in throughout that period, right? So what we are seeing is the major downside to this is because of the larger macroeconomic trends. That is point number one, right? And two is the regulatory headwinds, right? And point three is geopolitical tension that is happening across the world, right? And I want to drive home 3 points. Point one here is there is steady growth on the demand side, right? There is a consistent increase in the user base, and the number of paying users is consistently increasing, right? And to give you the perspective of the opportunity that is there, right? Indian gaming market as a percentage of total global gaming market is just 1%. And if you compare that to US, it is 25%. If you compare that to China, it is 25%. So there is a massive opportunity that is out there, right? And founders have to be smart to tap that opportunity, right? Point number two is India is known to be a back office factory for all these global gaming studios and publishers, right? And that is going to change, and that is changing as we are speaking, right? Because they are pivoting to the front office, and that is the other opportunity. Opportunity number three is I just want to draw a parallel to the software industry, right? There are companies like Freshworks, Flipkart, where plethora of people come out of those companies and start their own ventures which are successful. And I believe this is going to happen in gaming sooner or later. And in certain cases, it's happening already, right? So, yeah.
So, Rajesh, before you answer, I would like to quickly, ask the team here. Guys, hypothetically speaking, if you guys are a founder, do you guys want to build, how many of you would like to build the content for India first? Okay, and globally, I'm assuming that the rest of them would like to build the content for global market. Okay, fine.
Okay, so from my perspective, I think now there is a lot of doors available right now. There's a lot of VC funds and also the angel funds which are extremely focused towards only gaming, which was not there a couple of years back, and also it was not there for a new age founders who came into picture. So the doors are available, but honestly, I'm not sure like how many deals are getting closed. From that point of view, I have no idea. But there is now from a Pixel Play or for any other founders, there are a lot of companies are very much open to come and discuss with us, like, what kind of funding we are looking for and what is our expectations are.
Yeah. So one of the questions that a lot of founders would come across, say, what stage should I reach out to, an investor, right? And suppose you start a company, and do I need to have the money in the bank before I start the company, or do I build something and then start the company, then reach out to an investor? So, like you guys are early stage, specifically, Psyche does that early stage, and Shailaja does that. How do you go? At what stage do you want or expect the founder to reach out to you and say, I'm ready to raise the money?
So for us, I mean, I'm sure different funds operate differently, but for us, it is more of you need to have a basic prototype, ready, because we would want to see something in place before we kind of can bet on that founder and the idea. So at least that's how we operate. And we look at the basic, structure. How does it, work? How is the team structured? What is the thought process? What is the long-term vision that the team has set up for themselves? Basis that we would take it ahead. Of course, not everything would be in place at that stage. It's too early, but then that's where we are coming in to help them, because as a fund, we just don't help them with money. We help them with other nuances of the game building process itself, because we've been operators in the past. But yeah, basically this is what we would look at that, and we also look at a strong technical background in the team. That's something that we really focus on. And apart from that, if it is mobile, then how do you do the metrics measurement? Those aspects we kind of guide them at that stage, but not really hung up on that, because you need to build the game at that point of time. At least that's the starting point for us when we evaluate a game from our side.
Certainly. And how does it work for like you guys, Nazara, being a public trading company and have been active into investments and all?
So for us, I think we are, as I mentioned, come in at a later stage. So probably once you have launched the product. So there are, let's go back one step. Look at how the product evolves. So it's 1, 0 to 1, 1 to 10, 10 to 100, just to sort of classify and make things a little clear. We typically come in from 10 to 100 sort of a journey, because those are a very different mindset, principles, SOPs, standards that you need to set in within the company to scale it from a 10 to 100. Whereas a very different mindset is required for 0 to 1, which is more execution focused, more hustling around things, trying to get the right product, right fit, having to change and pivot your mindset every single time. And then there is 1 to 10 sort of a journey, which is more about scaling and other opportunities. So Nazara typically would come in at a 10 to 100 scale and beyond potentially. And that is where we can help companies ideate, create strong SOPs, strong pipelines, very, very clean corporate governance. All the other things which becomes more relevant for the business is something that we will help them companies achieve, along with any other business processes, partnerships, relationships, IP licensing, and other opportunities, etc. So that is where Nazara typically comes in.
So PMF is done, and they sorted it out, and there is possible monetization happening, and then you get in.
Well, first set of PMF is done.
Okay, first set of
right?
PMF.
So 1 to 10 is a very different PMF. 10 to 100 is a very different PMF, where you're trying to expand your overall market base, right? Sure. So you need to also establish that PMF. So yes, we help companies establish PMF on that front.
Yeah. And the follow-on question would be like a lot of, I had this trouble when I was trying to raise money back then. I didn't know how much should I raise. Right? A lot of people say, you know what, I want like sufficient runway, 2 years. I'm like happy. and not think about raising money, because there is a longer exercise, right? You have like, whenever you start this conversation with the VC, it's not like the money will come next week, right? It's like good 6 months process or 3 months process, or, it depends on the fund and the company. So people are confused. I mean, founders especially are confused, and how much should someone raise? Like, how do you see, Kshitij and Karthik, how much fund someone should raise, and what would that be?
Yeah. So see, typically our stage of investments are more on the early side. So we are okay with even paper plan kind of investment. So I'll answer the question in two parts. So this to say 0 to 1 and 1 to 10 is probably where our sweet spot is, and more on the seed and series A side where it's more that spectrum. But the couple of studios I work with now are more like still figuring out the first PMF. So we invested when they just left their jobs. They had a few ideas. We liked it. And basically we invested some capital in it. I think the way to think about how much to raise is that if it's your first round of investment that you're looking for, especially if you're building in casual games, etc., I think you should have enough capital to have multiple shots at the goal. So maybe if it roughly takes around 80 to 100K dollars to build a game, casual game of sorts, if you raise around 500, 600K, you have enough capital to take 4-5 shots at the goal and figure out one of them that works out and hits good quality leading metrics. Then you can raise another round at that time just to invest more on user acquisition and just scale what's working, right? So typically that's why we come in at early stages at seed series A, because you need the first set of capital to have enough shots at the goal. Once something starts working, that is the other stage we come in at, if we haven't come in at seed, to say that, you know what, take more capital now as a series A. This is working and we can see it's working. Now you just take this and scale this. So this is your user acquisition and hiring sort of capital for investing on what's working. So that could be more 5-7 million in the range of that.
Okay, and from 0 to 1, what are the check sizes and going with?
So it really varies, but I would say somewhere between 500K to 2 million is that spectrum, depending on the, like again for casual games, even a 500 to 1 million will work, so that you have 4-5 shots at the goal. Something like a mid-core game, you need more talent to come in, you need more investment, the development period is much longer. So maybe a 2-3 million round is something that you would need at a seed stage itself.
Karthik, you want to comment?
Yeah, so a lot of you guys want to start up in the near future, right? So I'll have that in the background. So let's say first you have to identify the milestones, right, that you want to achieve, and estimate the related cost, right, and which will give you an initial number. So basically revenue minus cost plus your capital expenses, right? That will give you the amount that you need per year, right? Then don't say, go deep on each line item, right? Because there will be multiple components in the cost, right? There could be rent, there could be salary, right? Go deep on each line item. For example, don't say that salary might increase by 10% next year, right? Go deeper. Go deep into the cost drivers. For example, number of employees into average salary per employee will give you the total salary cost, right? Go one more level deeper, right? Break down the salary for different teams, and how are you going to scale the teams across the company, right? That will give you a baseline number, right? And this bottoms-up approach will give you a estimation of your runway, right? So which is where the financial model comes into the picture. I know seed stage financial projection might be far-fetching, but that is a starting point. It helps us to evaluate your vision for the company and whether you have what it takes to build a company, right? So my suggestion is financial projection is the starting point to estimate that runway needs.
Sure.
Imtiaz, yeah. I mean, the numbers look very interesting, 500K, 1 million, 2 million, right? But fundamentally, on ground, it is highly likely that if you are a founder who is just starting out with no background, no history and no market credibility, for instance, how do you navigate those, right? So essentially today, what I want to highlight is there are two ways. One, make your own angels. Reach out to all your friends, family, people who you know who are in extended relationships, extended relations and things like that, and create your own angels. Raise as much money as possible and operate like a cockroach. That's the only way to succeed, right? The second is, it doesn't take that much money to create games today. Of course, finishing games and scaling games, all of those would need a lot of money. But developing games, you don't need that much. You can create a very good game if you're able to leverage generative AI, if you're able to think intelligently. You can still create good quality games which are unique, which are innovative, with a very small budget. So just keep that into mind so that you are not looking for that $500 million check sizes and then getting discouraged because you're not able to raise it. Do it. Just do it.
Yeah, I mean, very good point, guys. Angels, if they put in money, that means they believed in you, right? And that's actually a validation for the investors as well, right? So if you have an investor who is evaluating, they see that, hey, who else is on your cap table? And they see that, okay, this guy who believed in you has success in the back, so they should actually, find it very lucrative. And I would like to, check with Rajesh, how he sees that. Hey, how much money is sufficient for me? I mean, you gave a very chartered accountant way of operating, so I would like to understand from your.
See, we are in a creative industry as of right now, right? Like, so we know for sure, even though every single game we work with the heart and soul of making that as a next Angry Bird, but we know that for sure in ground reality, not every single game is going to make that, right? So there where we are somewhat banking on law of average, we do 10 games, at least expect 10% of is to somewhat touch the kind of a groundbreaking where we want. So exactly what we need is more shots. So at least we should be in a position to do 20 games, so that expecting that 2 or 3 games is actually start giving that kind of a revenue back into the system. So 3 ways, almost like 20 games is like we are talking about 2.5 years of runway with the 2. That's how we are calculating right now in terms of what Pixel Play needs. So 2.5 years of runway on production cost itself, and top of it on the marketing side, we have a lot of other supports from the publishing side right now.
That's interesting, and one point I would like to tell that we are in a gaming industry which is creative India, like you said, and gaming is something that talks only one language, right? Everyone. So if you have a game, you can release in Japan. You don't have to fundamentally do a lot of localization. But if you want to do that for a movie, you need to do a lot of subtitles and so on and so forth. So there's a beauty about it, and I'll give you one example that I grew up watching Tom and Jerry. How many of you? I'm sure a lot of people. But my kids never found it funny. I still enjoy Tom and Jerry. And my kids, this generation, don't enjoy that. Kids are wrong. Right, so they don't know what fun is, right? Now, but what's the point I'm trying to make is, I introduced them to Mario game. And they still spend like hours on that. So games actually speak the solo language. Everyone likes to play the games, whether what generation they are in. Now, I come to another point about this, something which someone needs to, have sufficient runway and so one of the other methods is the people actually working with publishers very closely, right? And Saket does publishing, and you being a developer, I also say in the same boat. The other method is, talking to the publishers, and publishers generally give you some dev funds. Is that advisable, or how do you see that?
That is much better than taking a VC funds for that, for sure. Nothing offensive right now. So because here there is a common interest with the publisher, right? Like they also want to make your game desperately successful. And also, if there is some kind of an upfront for a developer, as a development cost has been covered, nothing like it. So that's better deal to basically pick it up for. Yeah.
Sure. And Saket, in your case, would you be interested getting those studios and give them dev funds? So
yeah, of course. Why not? So Nazara does a lot of publishing work, of course. We do help studios and games cross a particular threshold and help them with multiple other activities while the developer can focus on developing the game and creating core mechanics, do live ops and other things with regard to the game itself. Couple of points adding more onto this. as a if you are wanting to build a company for yourself and a name for yourself, I think eventually you would need to build those capabilities in-house. And this is, again, I'm speaking in the larger interest of the public. But essentially, it is far more valuable than relying on a publisher. But a publisher brings in a very, very important first step for you to figure out the go-to-market strategy, figure out marketing, figure out UA, community, and other aspects associated. Eventually, once you have been able to figure out a good gameplay, and if you have been able to figure out a good playbook for yourself in any given genre, you could then slowly start building out the various pieces that are required to make you a good studio. But a publisher can bridge in those gaps for you, at least when it comes at an initial level. But eventually, it is advisable to build your own capabilities in-house.
Just wanted to add a point perspective here. I think working with the publisher in the initial days becomes important, especially when you're doing a premium game, stuff, because you don't have a brand recall at that point of time, and when a publisher is able to help you through that, journey, it kind of becomes easier to navigate. But of course, over a period of time, you need to out your way ahead. But I think it's always a very difficult journey for a founder to decide whether he should go this way or that way. But I think based on what you're building and what that particular genre needs, if it means taking up a publisher engagement, I think they should not hesitate in doing it. In fact, we have supported 2 premium titles. Typically, VCs don't do that, but we said, let's try it out and see how it works. So that's a choice we have taken. We'll see what happens to those studios.
Yeah, not just publishers, even the VCs play a key role, right? When you're a founder and you want to raise money, you have choices. Like, you just don't need money. They should, what else they are bringing to the table is very important, right? And like, if I go and raise money now, I want to see, hey, not, are you also bringing some network, or are you also bringing some support, some relationships or partnerships with various things? So that is very critical. So publisher offers that. At the same time, I think VCs are also trying to see if there is an opportunity to mentor these guys and get to the next level. So the follow-on question would be, I would like to check if there's a common mistake that you might have seen that when you have done so many investments, and there are common mistakes that you generally find in the founders. What would that be? Maybe Shaila, you can start, and Kshitij might add in, and Karthik.
Again, perspectives could be different. Rajesh had a different, view on, as a founder, I'm sure they would have their own way of looking at it. But when we evaluate a company and what they're trying to build, we try and see, do they have a focus? And do they have that focus for the next 5 years, 10 years? Rather than trying to do multiple things, are they trying to build something that will be sustainable for the next 5 to 10 years? Because ultimately, a VC or a publisher, whatever engagement you're talking about, it's all in the interest of that long-term vision. And so whether they have that, and many a times we see that the founders kind of are very confused on what they want to do. So that is one common mistake that we see. Sometimes they say, I will build this, I'll build that, without realizing that each genre has a different mindset that it takes to build. That's something that we often see. And also we were talking a little bit earlier about fundraise. Very confused way of looking at how they want to raise funds. Like Saikat said, I would also agree with them. It doesn't take a lot of money to build a game. I think in the initial days, you can be really frugal and build a good prototype, showcase it, get the confidence of your audience, and then you can build on top. You don't have to build a mammoth game and then see it fail. So you can still do a good job at an initial small set that you build. These are certain things that I think founders can keep in mind.
So Lechete, how do you see them?
Yeah, I agree with what Shailaja also said, but to add a different perspective, I would say that oftentimes, especially in early stages, we see that founders are very much stuck to the idea they have about the game, especially because it's more creative in nature, right? But typically what it takes to succeed at later stages is just obsessing over every screen, being very iterative and being very data oriented about what's working, what's not, and being okay with not working on something if it's not working, if the metrics aren't adding up. So at early stages, when we invest in founders at paper plan or pre-product stages, this is what we look for, is a combination of people who are creative in their thinking, have good quality ideas for a game they're building, but also come in with strategic and more data oriented thinking, which helps in once something works, can you continue investing in live operations? Can you really understand what are the North Star metrics to define the success of this game, or what do you want to aspire to? And really be data driven and strategic in your approach as well. So that combination sometimes is something which I find lacking. So some people are very stuck to the idea and just creative, but not data oriented and iterative.
Sure. And data plays very key role. And I generally say people that we are not creative companies, we are actually science companies, right? We are fundamentally looking at data. Fundamentally looking at data. Zynga is actually a science company, right? I mean, they are that's what I see, right? So, Karthik, do you have a comment on that?
So, right, the first point which I wanted to convey is approaching the investor without being prepared, right? When I say without being prepared, what I mean is, without having a comprehensive data room, right? You can approach the investors, but have the data room ready, right? If you have any data to present, right? And do some research on the investors, like what is their thesis, what is their typical check size, right? These basic things matters. And point two is approaching the investors with a buggy or laggy prototype. I'm not talking about the finished product here, but present a nice polished prototype, right? Because if it has any lags or bugs, it completely undermines your technical capabilities in the eyes of the investor, right? Point three is have that financial projection ready, right? If you find it difficult, take a professional help, right? Point four is presenting your seeking investors as a one game funding, right? Because we investors, we don't want to invest in one game projects, right? We want to invest in a company which will build multiple titles over years, which will increase the value of the company. So have a clear thesis and what's and whys of why you are building it, right? So yeah.
Certainly, great. Before I ask the next question, I would like to quickly, check the pulse here. If you guys, hypothetically, everyone starts a company, hypothetically, how many of you would like to have a co-founder? Great. So that's interesting, right? So we would, like, I'm sure VCs would be happy. We need co-founders. We don't want solopreneurs. Is that real? Yeah, good. So, real quick, a topic that Anand covered a little while back, I would like to know, how do you guys see AI, and if you guys have to give like 30 seconds answer, each of you, what would that be? In gaming, AI in gaming. If you might like start, yeah?
AI is truly transformational. I think a lot of the cost, scope, optimization can be very easily handled with the usage of AI. How you are deploying the AI technologies is something that needs to be figured out, and that is something that will be your secret sauce as of today. My take would be, do not focus on out-of-the-shelf products that are already commoditized and available freely to anybody or with subscription to anybody. I think the competitive advantage that you can build with AI today is to truly understand and create your custom models using the base large language models that are available. So Llama, ChatGPT, and building custom models on top of it to handle any and every task that you typically would want to achieve. Stable diffusion included, of course, for images and other things. So I would say that will be a key differentiator for your studio. And then eventually figure out how do you deploy that in a very scalable fashion so as to reduce your overall costs and improve your frequency at which you can prototype and other aspects associated with it. So AI is truly transformational. We are already seeing the deployment of it, and we are very bullish about it.
Kshitij, how?
I think just to add a different perspective here, it's going to definitely save time and costs of game developers. So we are seeing a lot of applications across contextual game environment generation, asset creation. End-to-end games are also being generated on AI now in many ways. So all of that really helps in saving time. I think more interesting themes that we have been seeing is more of a co-pilot for game devs in AI, which is like to instead of hiring a services team of like 50 people testing out your game, finding bugs in it, you can create 100 AI instances and really save a lot of time and effort in finding out bugs and fine-tuning a game. And I believe that even in the back-end engine side of things, there will be AI-first engines that come in which used text-based prompts rather than code-based flows to develop games. So that's where we see a lot of new companies coming through and are most excited about. Actually, one more thing is this whole in more AAA games is intelligent non-playing characters, which is the emotion stack and the actions that they can take as non-playing characters that can be fully automated through AI. So that's also very interesting space.
Yeah, I think I don't have anything more to add to that. I think we all understand AI is here to stay and it's going to help us, but also build processes to kind of ensure, because in gaming, your IP is your main focus, and you need to ensure that whatever you add on top of that, ensure that you have enough processes to kind of protect, whether it's your asset creation or whatever else you're using it for. Ensure you have enough processes to protect your IP at the end of the day. Yeah.
Certainly.
I agree with Kshitij and Saikat here, right? From a developer perspective, it is going to reduce the timelines and costs associated with the game production. Point two is the intelligent RPCs, as Kshitij said, right? Imagine PUBG, right? A few years back, when you kill someone, you feel good about it, right, in the game. And then your friend says it's a bot, right? Now that's going to change, right? NPCs are going to understand context, and it's going to dynamically enhance your gaming experience, and that is going to be huge.
Sure. And as a studio, how do you, are you, did you guys start using AI already?
Yeah. I'll tell you how we are using it. There is a generally whenever we actually come up with the concepts, right? We come up with the art direction for that concept. At least minimum 6 or 7 art directions we try to finalize before we. So that used to be at least like 2-3 weeks process, but today we are able to do that in 2 days with AI. And two is especially a game design processes. We need someone to constantly throw your minds and discuss and debate about the ideas. And now we don't need a human being. We can do that with the AI. And our programmers are constantly using to get some kind of code snips. So we have actually finished a project called Cultist Indoctrination. It's about to launch. It's in a closed beta as of right now. This project, traditionally, if we want to pull it off, it should have easily taken us somewhere around 5 to 6 months' time. Now we did that in 2.5 months' time.
Brilliant. We have like 5 minutes left. If you want to have a question asked, please raise your hand. We'll do one more round of questions here before we get to the audience here. So we'll do that. So if you have to give like advice, like 30-second advice for someone who is trying to raise money, what would that be? So you can start, Saiket, and then.
So have a little seed fund of your own, from your own savings, your own earnings. Try to find your own angels. Try to do a research on what investor base you are approaching to at what stage of your company. Depending on the stage, the investor classes will change. Even within the VC ecosystem, you would have seed, pre-seed, then you would have growth stage, and then you have late stage investments as well. Look at other strategic investments, look at publishers. I think those are the typical areas that you should do your research, and then eventually make and prepare yourself with what you're trying to do, how you will achieve it. Be prepared for anything and everything. Do not get disheartened if you're not getting invested. Just build.
Yeah, I would like to quickly comment on that. You need to be like thick-skinned. Get ready for rejections. So that's what I would say.
I think to add to that, an important skill set is to really learn how to build the narrative of your startup. What is it about? What's the story? And what do you want this to become? for anyone, it could be an investor, it could be a person you're trying to hire, it could be a friend you're talking to, but to get anyone excited about your idea, you need to have the narrative around what it is you're building and why is it that someone else should invest their time and money working with you. So that's an important skill set to really build.
I think what is important is you being able to understand what is the USP that you bring to the table. I think you need to be able to articulate that very well, and also doing a good competition analysis, because a lot of times we kind of misjudge that and we think we are the best. I'm the only one in this space, I've done something out of the world, which may be true, but I'm sure there is always on the side someone has created something similar. So being aware of that and being conscious, understanding what went well for them or what went wrong for them, being conscious of that, I think is an important
and
aspect.
taking feedback. A lot
And
of people
taking
don't do
feedback,
that.
absolutely.
A lot of people
That-
refrain that.
Yeah.
And Karthik, you have anything?
So there is a ton of capital that is available out there, right? You just have to be patient and you just have to keep on executing things. That is point number one, right? And second is I'll go back to the basics, right? Build a stronger prototype, keep your data room ready. And the other point which I wanted to drive here is be passionate, right? Be passionate about your game. If we cannot see that fire from you, and if you don't have a reason why your game is incredible, how can we get excited, right? So belief is contagious when it is real. So keep your passion up, right? And don't burn bridges, right? If a particular investor says no, right, don't burn that bridge. Send regular updates to the investor, and things might change, right? The mandate or the thesis might change for the VC firm, and this goes a long way. So yeah.
So we are in this high risk, high reward industry for sure. So the number of failures is going to be really, really high compared to the number of hits what we are going to get. Even after getting a hit, the very next game what we are doing, there is no guarantee that it's going to be a hit again, right? Like, a lot of good companies have actually went and they gave a good amount of hit games, and their subsequent games are not actually making that kind of a revenue. So this is the practicality. And so we have to be somewhat ready for, when we are jumping into this, we have to be ready for failures, which I'm already facing a lot as of right now. Number two, the way I see it is game development is it's a team game, right? Like right now that became much more bigger team game. Initially we used to say it's a bigger team game because you need a dev, you need a design, you need an artist, but that's only on the development, which became a smaller piece of the whole business, where the other bigger piece started actually playing a role on the data, on the marketing side, on the fund management and stuff like this. So, so we need a much bigger team right now. We need a much bigger ecosystem right now. That's where the publishers comes into picture, especially publishers who have dealing with a lot of testing the games, might feed us with a lot of data. We are already working with a couple of publishers, and we are actually benefiting out of that kind of information which comes towards us. And also the VCs who are already working on a gaming space, which they have accumulated 10, 15 game developers who they are creating an ecosystem for us to interact in between, which is another area where we can actually scale up on this particular data. And this industry always grown by sharing information. So there is nowhere, or in the last 20 years, I've never seen anyone, when we go and talk to them, everyone was willing to help you, everyone was willing to give the kind of data, whatever you're looking forward for. So that help is available, and only what restricts us is maybe our shyness or willingness to go out and explore. So I somewhat feel as a founder, maybe like, year on year basis, this ecosystem is getting much more bigger and better. Right now, more people are coming and participating, so it's getting much more bigger and better. And this is the second year we are running a dev day in Chennai, right? So comparing to the last year, this year I see at least 2x of people sitting here, which is amazing. And I can visualize what it's going to be like next year, right? So yeah, so a lot of good things are coming. At the same time, this competition is also building this stress in the market, where initially 2 years back when I started, I said, okay, my law of average will be somewhere around 15-20%. But today, whether I can say that very confidently, I'm not sure about that. But also at the same time, it puts me into the shoe that, okay, I need to look at things differently in terms of building a much more quality game. One thing is for sure, you create an amazing experience for the user, there is always market waiting for that. Yeah. Thank you.
We have a question here. Yeah, please.
Hi, my name is Rashmi. I am the founder of this company called Air One Games, and I have been regularly coming to IGDC. I have interacted with Shaikat before, Rajesh and Anand, couple of times in various occasions. So I wanted to just share a little bit of insight on what the stage of my company is at right now. So I started this company around 3 years back during COVID as a side hustle with my regular job. And growing up, I always had this pain point of inculcating games in education for high school students. Like we know that there are a lot of toys and like visualization concepts for primary kids and young kids. But once we get into higher education and prepare for competitive exams, the books become very black and white. There is not much visualization and experiential experience. So that was a point of time that was a pain point when I was studying and preparing for my JE and things like that. So I realized that probably I wanted to do something like that. So 3 years back, I designed this product, and I did not have the technical experience for it. So what I did is I came up with the design on a board game and made a physical board game out of it, which is based on a cardboard. And it was based on a very simple concept of snakes and ladders and Ludo kind of a thing. And I got it manufactured, published it on Amazon, got some traction from there, made a YouTube channel, started marketing. So this was around 3 years back. I was making very good use of my work from home narrative. I was working and like going to schools, different workshops. So there I used to got some traction. Then I set up a team also around 5-6 people for the marketing part. And then there was a physical product ready. Couple of months later, the team collapsed. There were certain operational challenges, and it was 100% bootstrapped, like completely self-funded.
Sure.
So now I have developed the same design into a digital product. The MVP is ready. I was able to, like, just last 6 months in IGDC, Hyderabad, I met these guys. I have been able to develop a tech team now. And that same design, with some sort of improvisations also, we are able to develop that into a tech product, and the MVP is ready by now. And I would really like all of you to kind of have a word and see that the game mechanics behind it. Then there's another product which is like a deck of cards that is also based on physics and mathematics concept. Like all the products that I design is based on, I will have some kind of an educational value to it. So I have 2 products ready as of now.
Sure.
And but the challenge that I'm facing is I am not sure which way to pivot this. Like the team. I mean, there are 2-3 young guys who are kind of animation and game developers, students, young folks, 20-25 years. They have helped me develop this product, and let me tell you, like, it's a very low budget thing. I was able to do this within like a budget
Sure.
of less than 5 lakhs, the whole tech product itself.
Yeah.
And so I want to scale this up. I know there is a product market fit, which I have tested it out in an offline space, but whether I should self-publish it, take funding from investors and kind of scale up the company, or get a publisher and give that load, share that load with somebody else, like that, and how much, like, what is the reality of the financial space is something that I am really not,
Sure.
I don't have the clarity about it. Like,
And that's where you want investors to advise. On
advise, and also, like, I mean, we know that we are talking about that gaming is bullish and this and that, but I want to have a clarity that what I'm venturing into, so that because last 2 years have been there have been a lot of sleepless nights in kind
Sure.
of
Ma'am, in the interest of time, I think
Yeah,
we got the point that you were saying. So
Yeah.
because we are almost like 30 minutes late
Sure.
to the schedule. So if you guys, so the question is that if there is a pivot, how it needs to be done, or there seems to be a PMF done on the offline, and what is it? If anyone has to answer that, then
I'm sorry, but I don't think we can get an answer like just by looking at the product and by verbal description. I
Definitely.
think we should definitely reach out to any one of us to get into the details, because it is one of those existential questions. Like, I mean, what do I do?
Yeah.
Which is very broad. Everybody would have their own opinion. So I think you should reach out to multiple people, gather their opinions, and see what works for you. I think that would be a next best course of action for you.
Yeah, I would like to connect maybe offline.
certainly, Eric.
Yeah.
And guys, there is a segment called Investor Publisher Connect in IGDC, and where we try to match the studios with the investors and so on. And we have Sucharita here, if you can stand up. And so if you guys want to connect with any investors or anyone, please connect with her, and that happen. If there is no other questions, guys, then we'll sign off from the stage, and then we'll move on. Guys, I think so. Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Great question. Thank you.